So Keir Starmer visited Liverpool on Monday. Note that it wasn't a big announcement like his usual tours, but that's because he probably knew that many in the city wouldn't be happy with him. If that was his suspicions, then he would have been proved correctly as he was approached by a woman who gave the leader a rude awakening. Take a look.
I don't know how you've got the guts to come to this city after you have been being interviewed and doing columns for the Sun newspaper, after the way we as a city were abused, and after the way we as a city, the Hillsborough victims were abused by that paper, and you've come here. Secondly, you lied to us about uniting the party. I'm still a Labour Party member, and you've expelled and witch hunted in the most vicious way I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I've been a member of the Labour Party for a long, long time. You have absolutely said you had 10 pledges, you were going to carry on the Corbyn legacy. And ever since, you've done nothing but distance yourself from the ideas which tens of thousands of people joined the Labour Party to support. And all you've done is feed into the Tory ideology of not supporting strikes, of carrying on with the privatisation of our health service. You're doing everything to feed into a Tory victory. Because we may as well have a Tory if we have a person like you who lies to the party. It's dishonesty.
Thank you very much.
And our health service is going right
much.
down the pan. And you have a big responsibility, the working class people of this country.
Can you move back, please?
Excuse me. You'll just don't be getting physical with me.
I'm not touching you. Can you move back then, please?
You're touching my breast.
Can you move back, please?
So the woman approached Starmer is Audrey White, a Labour member, seemingly furious about Starmer's dishonesty. Now, these are the reactions he's going to get on the ground. Despite the media making out he's some kind of effective, smart politician, in reality, a lot of people are furious. So that video has been viewed on Twitter more than 1.2 million times. Now, client journalist Lee Harpin, one of the more right-wing cheerleaders, has made himself more and more visible in the defence of the Labour right. Now, he thinks he's uncovered a gotcha. He tweeted this. The woman who staged a confrontation with Keir Starmer in Liverpool today claimed, "I am still a Labour member. The truth is, Audrey White was suspended over anti-Semitism claims in 2020 and has been expelled from the party." Now, under the tweet, he adds a link to his own report on the right-wing Jewish Chronicle website. Since he's only a client journalist, he doesn't do all that much investigating. Now, it turns out the Jewish Chronicle apologised to Audrey White because she was accused of weaponising anti-Semitism, and they lost the libel case and paid all damages and legal costs. So Lee Harpin's own paper lied about it, but he still hasn't deleted the tweet. Now, I think that Audrey speaks to a whole lot of people, especially Labour members. But what does it mean for the wider public? Now, people don't like dishonesty. I think the policy reversals don't bode well, especially when most of the public supports nationalisation. Now, there were 4 different communications on the nationalisation of rail from the Labour Party in the same day. First, Keir Starmer ruled it out. Then he said, well, most of it's in public hands. Maybe we will. Then Rachel Reeves said it was a no. Then a shadow cabinet frontbencher said it was definite yes. The lack of professionalism in Starmer's Labour Party is actually quite profound. What amazes me so much is that the one service he's kind of soft on, but he wouldn't actually support nationalisation of, is rail, and that's probably because it's been in the Labour manifesto the last 3 or 4 times, I believe. But you'd think, with the biggest cost of living crisis is down to energy prices, that the one thing you would talk about nationalisation on is energy. What an incredibly out of touch man he is. So why has Keir Starmer given up his pledges on nationalisation? Well, the new excuse is that it doesn't fit in the fiscal responsibility pledge. He wants to reject idealism and go down the route of pragmatism. So let's look at rail. Currently, it has a massive lack of investment. The cost is an absolute rip-off, yet bosses are making record profits. So the most pragmatic way, with all of that in one swoop, is to bring it into public hands. You essentially have, potentially, unlimited investment. Greedy CEOs won't be there to drive wages down, and without the profit motive, costs can come down too. What Starmer is advocating isn't pragmatism, it's ideological. Privatisation is literally ideological. Yet obviously the political right, the current Labour leadership are so desperate to look sensible that they are pursuing really insensible economic policies. Now his new slogan is growth, 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 mirroring Blair's phrase on education. What an absolutely tone-deaf campaign. We need to be rethinking about the structure of the economy, and capitalism, the system is based on infinite growth on a finite planet. The problem isn't growth, it's the lack of redistribution. Now he's refusing to say whether he backs a pay rise that matches inflation, which if it's not a pay rise in match with inflation, that is a real terms pay cut. But his politics isn't about the state intervening to make things more equal. Now he's talking about wages in the context of growth. Let's work with business, grow the economy in order to give people better wages and more investment. But the man hasn't got a clue. And notice how the rhetoric actually works. He's essentially saying, look at wage growth, or he's looking at wage growth through the lens of business and capital. If it doesn't work for business, well, sorry, buddy, it won't work for you, Mr. Minimum Wage Worker. This is deeply, deeply neoliberal. Large businesses are making huge profits because they are driving down wages. He should be pursuing a strategy of fairness, of rebalancing the economy, especially when the Tories in the last couple of years have essentially lost the debate on austerity. And that's a superb opportunity for the left and for the centre left. Talking about fiscal credibility and talking about how there's no magic monetary puts us right back into 2015 and allowed austerity to be the zeitgeist.